Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to this video. Hope everyone out there in the world is doing good. Hope everyone's being kind and generous and patient with everyone else. Today I want to talk about a book that spawned a Broadway musical and a movie in 1972 with Liza Minnelli and Michael York. We're gonna talk about it kind of interchangeably because there is so much overlap in the book, the musical, and the movie. If you haven't read the title down below or haven't noticed the image floating around somewhere up here, the book we're talking about, or the story, I should say, we're talking about a story, would be a better way to put it. The story of Goodnight to Berlin by Christopher Isherwood. Basically, in this book, we are introduced to the unforgettable character of Sally Bowles, who is your stereotypical hooker with a good heart, who's at best poorly educated, kind of living life by the seat of her pants, is a real not really sure how to put this and still keep the videos on YouTube. Let's just say her body was well traveled, like a superhighway traveled. She's also a drug addict, as a lot of people in this particular time frame, which is, like I said, set late 1920s. Maybe I haven't said it yet, but set late 1920s, near the end of the Weimar Republic, and shares a lot of similarities with the Babylon Berlin. Except where those are fictional, this stuff is quasi. It's just enough, close enough to Isherwood's real life experiences to go, well, it's semi-autobiographical, but at the same time it is fiction. He was an Englishman who traveled to Berlin working on a, I can't remember, I think it's either a bachelor's degree, or, excuse me, not bachelor, a master's PhD. And he goes to Berlin to do research for his degree and teach English, basically to put himself through college, or higher college or doctorate program or whatever the modern equivalent would be, and basically being a poor college student in his mid to late 20s in basically a city that was basically a very libertine city. And he was introduced to a lot of things that he had previously either only had heard stories about or had absolutely no idea that existed. Transgender, homosexuality, drugs, recreational sex of all kinds, BDSM. Yeah, he basically he experienced was his experiences. It was made into a Broadway play after the Second World War, and the Broadway play and the movie are musicals. Some very, very wonderful music, some very rich music, some very telling music. A lot of the songs in it, in context with what's going on the screen, is very moving, very powerful. Very what's going on the stage, and if you go back, if you watch the movie or the stage play, then you go back and you read the book, you can almost hear the songs in your head at different parts of the book. There's especially the parts of the stage play, and the movie doesn't really touch on it too much, but the Sally Bowles gets pregnant and has an abortion, which is really illegal and very illegal in Germany at that point. And it's interesting because she originally let herself get pregnant in order to trap basically Isherwood into a marriage, then decided she didn't want to get married, then had the abortion, then told him it was a miscarriage. Like I said, the movie 1972, America, Europe, or England, English-speaking countries, America, England. Yeah, a lot of the content of this book was forbidden. So you get it in innuendo. There's a wonderful. The way it's framed in the movie, it's in the stage play, but it's wonderful. The Michael York and Liza Minnelli pull this scene off. I mean, it's probably the best rendition of the scene that I've seen, and it's actually in the book. It is more detailed, more nuanced, but they're dating or hanging out with a rich man, married to a woman. He's Jewish, and in the process of getting up out of Germany. And there's a scene where they're talking about him, and Liza Minnelli's character, Sally Bowles, and Michael York's character, and I forget the name right offhand that they use for him in the book, are in an argument of fighting, and Liza Minnelli just yells out, "Fuck Reinhardt," and Michael York's character is like, "I did." And that is about the extent of the of that admitting of bisexuality and homosexuality. It was after this, and I think shortly after the Second World War, when Isherwood basically settled on the fact or realized he was homosexual. But at the time, he was in Berlin. He was still trying to figure it out, trying to figure things out, figure life out. Growing up, you know. And there's also in the movie, in the book, like I said, a lot of this stuff in the book is very nuanced, very detailed. And I really, without making a 900-hour long video, can't go into the way it's detailed in the book, other than to tell you it's more detailed in the book. There's a scene in the movie. I don't remember it in the Broadway play, in which the Isherwood character goes to the restroom. He's taking a piss. And this very, very attractive woman, very buxom, very attractive, like all the men, he saw the men just fawning over her, just all this stuff. And just trying everything they can do to get with her. And Isherwood is by the urinal. It's a stand-up urinal. He's taking a leak, and this woman walks in, looks at him, stands next to him, and pulls her junk out and urinates. And that is about all the more we get of the transgenderism throughout the movie and the Broadway play. I believe, like I said, I don't remember. It's been the 90s when they revived it in the 90s with Joel Grey. Not Joel Grey. Maybe so. Maybe Joel Grey. I think Joel Grey was the original MC in the 72 movie. But when they did the revitalization of it in the 90s, I went and saw it. It had come to Houston, and I don't remember that in the actual play, but it's in the movie. And it deals with the communists and the Nazis and the Weimar government in the background, basically doing their thing. There's a lot of... This focuses more a lot of the anti-Semitism from the Nazis, a little bit on the communists, but mainly on the Nazis. The rise, how they come to power. In the beginning of the movie, you get, when they're doing the opening song, Welcome, it pans across through, the Cabaret, the Kit Kat Club. And you've got all these, you've got the Bohemians, you got the Libertines, you've got the, Libertarian, you got everybody in there. And at the end of the movie, it pans during the last song, or the closing instrumental, it pans across, and you see nothing but brown shirts. A few people in like suits and stuff, but it's mainly brown shirts. And it's kind of eerie the way it's filmed, the way the director did it, is just, it's eerie and scary as fuck. It's one of those things where if you haven't read the book and you're not weirded out by detailed descriptions of BDSM, casual sex, homosexuality, bisexuality, and transgender, I would strongly suggest reading the book. It's a very enjoyable read, and there's a lot of parallels in the politics in Germany at this time as there is in America today, in this day and age. There's a lot of parallel. So yeah, it's one of those things. And if you just want to see a very adult movie, very campy, very late 60s, early 70s movie, I would strongly suggest watching the movie. And if there's somewhere doing a stage play of it, I would recommend that too. Especially if it's the off-Broadway cast. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope everyone's doing well. Be a good human. Be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?